Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Sharla.
And I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew.
Hey guys, so this is a bit of a bonus episode. We are kind of strewn all over the place. Sharla is back home in Huntsville. I'm in Valdosta, Georgia while I'm traveling, and Andrew is back home in Atlanta. Andrew actually just passed by. I should have stopped and seen you. Maybe I could see you on the way back here in a week or so.
Yeah, no pressure. I'm sure I'll see you again before Bonnaroo. So
You will. So we got a couple of things to talk about. We're just going to do a quick bonus episode tonight because I'm going to be straightforward. We all expected the lineup to drop on Tuesday. So we were going to do our regular lineup drop episode around that. But both of you guys, I guess we're waiting one day for some reason. We didn't find out until just the other day.
yeah, and that part was a little weird. It sounded like they had some last minute booking stuff, or it could even have something to do with the Boston Calling lineup. Although I don't think that's likely because they ended up just dropping it on the same day as Bonnaroo every year up to this year. So um,
I
if it
remember
were around a booking, I can speculate that about that in a minute. But
Yeah, we'll
I'll
get to last minute rumors here in just a few minutes. I want to get to a couple of things. Charlotte, I want to get you to help fill me in on something because all of the news about this dropped while I was driving. I think I was in Cartersville, Georgia when this dropped on Instagram and stuff. What can you tell us about this new 360 stage that they're going to have for us?
So, they're actually going to have something called an infinity stage, and it is the best way to explain it to everyone. If you go to instagram.com/polygon.live, it is going to be something brand new that has never been done in the United States before. So the festival producer, Brad, actually went to a festival in Thailand called Wonder Fruit, and that's
Yeah.
where he went to kind of check it out, I guess. And he saw it there, and it's just something that is so super cool. I can't really describe it to you. I mean, just go to that Instagram and check it out. A lot of people have been comparing it to the stage they have at Lost Lands, but that's not correct at all. And some people have compared it to like an in the round stage that they have at Coachella, but that's not really accurate either. I mean, it's something that's going to be brand new for the United States, and it's going to be like a brand new festival thing that's never really been done here before. So I'm very excited for it. Now, the thing to note about this stage, that lineup is not going to come out on Wednesday. It's going to have a different lineup that's going to come out later. And it's going to be some really cool stuff with that stage. It's not just going to be music on that stage. There's also going to be some really cool meditation experiences on that stage. Some really cool trippy stuff is what we're being told.
Yeah, Brad had announced this earlier on Friday. He gave kind of an exclusive to the Festiverse Discord. They've been, as everybody knows by this point, been dropping in on there a lot to troll and be trolled. But I think we got a better idea of it today from pretty much everything that you just said, Charla. It's still honestly hard for me to completely wrap my head around it. My first thought was that big Coachella thing from 2 years ago when Fred and Skrillex and Fortet played, but it's not going to be anywhere near that big. And that's not really like a thing that you can purely compare it to either, because it sounds like there's going to be some kind of like element where literally the sound is all around you, you know. I don't think it's going to be something that we can fully, totally understand until we go to it for ourselves, you know?
Right, exactly. And the speakers do face inward. I mean, it's meant to be an experience, something that you experience truly. And the thing about this is, it's a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we'll get this major artist on, or we'll get that major artist on it." And it's not really meant to be like that. I think a lot of people are might get their hopes up in terms of artist per se, but it's more meant to be something that you experience, I think, or that's what I'm getting from it, from what they put out about it. But it looks amazing. It definitely looks amazing. So go check out that Instagram.
Yeah, I am so excited to try this out. I honestly still have so many questions, though. I think the biggest question is where in the heck are they going to put this? We know that they're going to put it somewhere in Centeru. Andrew, you think about these kind of logistics all the time. Where would you put it if you had to pick a place?
I was trying to think of that, and I really could not guess. I mean, like they could relocate some vendor stuff. They could put it like, the very back of the what field, but I really, I don't know. I it it's kind of interesting. It sounds like from the 360 audio thing, there are going to be like three little pods within it, and then each one of those pods will be like its own 360 audio thing. So um, that should make it interesting based off of whether the artist wants to do it based on the stage or an in the round type situation. Now it'll be 360 regardless, but um, where you're standing might be impacted by that, even if
Yeah,
it sounds similar.
that's kind of one of my questions too. Is where is the stage going to be for this? In that promo video that we saw from Wonderfruit or wherever it was the other day, it seemed as if they could do both. There was one stage that's kind of off to the side of it, and then they can also do kind of a smaller in the round thing, kind of like the Boiler Room or the thing at Coachella. If I had to pick a place, I think the best thing to do potentially is to put it in that back corner where the Who stage has been. But then I don't know where you put that. Maybe you can put the Who stage out in the camps. I don't know. I was hoping that we were going to get some more information about that today, but I think that's going to be coming much later. Charlotte, where would you put it if you had to pick a place?
I'm not really sure, but there was a lot of talk about that on the Festiverse Discord today. And the main thing to know is Centuru is a lot bigger than people give it credit for. So I don't know if they're working on expanding Centuru or what. A lot of people have speculated that Who stage area right there, somewhere like that. But Centuru is a lot larger than people think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting this year because I think it's going to be more dense than it has been in the past couple of years. Obviously, we're going to talk about the lineup on the next full episode, and we're going to talk about that with Andrew here in just a few minutes. But we're realistically expecting a sellout this year. Like it's going to be one of those situations where they probably have to expand the Centeroo footprint. And if you haven't heard an episode with us when we have talked about that before, essentially what they do is they move the wall out of the wet field and maybe do a couple of other little things to tinker with it. We just really don't know yet, but it is going to be a full crowd. So that's going to be interesting to see where they put it. Now, I'm going to ask both of you this too. And Charlotte, we'll start with you and then go to Andrew. What artists would you theoretically like to see on this thing?
Oh, starting with me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know yet, but Chelsea, aka Hygiene Queen, had a very, very, very good one. Yomi that harpist.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect idea because it's meant to be a meditation kind of trippy experience. I think that would be perfect. And I think when Chelsea mentioned that on Festiverse, I think that was dead on that type of experience. I think people are thinking, I mean, it's going to be quality artists, obviously, but I think people are thinking a little bit out of the realm, some of the artists I've seen mentioned. So when Chelsea mentioned Yomi that harpist, I think that was perfect.
That is a good idea. All right, I've got one in mind, but I want to hear from Andrew first. Andrew, you may know more about the lineup than anybody at this point. Who would you pick to go on this new stage if you had to?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say based off of confirmed artists. If I were to maybe guess one, it would be like Of the Trees, but they're a little on the bigger side, but I could maybe see that. Or if I were to just like pick an artist, I'll name one that I've been, relentlessly asking for anyway, which is Todd Tierhay. Um, but I don't think they're gonna fly him in from Europe.
Yeah.
So if he ends up on the lineup, then I'll reiterate that. But I think we'll have to see what the full lineup looks like first.
Well, the two I had in mind are probably way too big for this stage. We did ask, or I asked on Discord, like about the rough size of it, and Brad did mention that it's going to house more people than one of the tents. But still, it wouldn't work for the two that I have in mind, Tipper or King Giz. I think both of them could do something cool with that. Tipper, obviously, that makes a lot of sense, but it would just get way too crowded. King Giz, I think if they potentially did one of their like synth sets, it would work, but again, we don't really fully know how many people will be able to house at that. Maybe they can do it. I don't know. What do you think, Andrew? Could King Giz
I
do one of
think
their
the
sets there?
King Giz synth set could theoretically work. I don't know that they would actually do that. I think they're more likely to just put them on the other stage. But I don't think Tipper will be there just because there's not really a visual aspect to the
Right.
stage. I mean, there is, but it's not kind of the point of it. I think the more like visual led EDM stuff is going to be pretty condensed to the other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did do something a little similar to this at Okeechobee about 2 years ago. There was a thing from LS Dream where he did this kind of meditation sound bath thing, and it was amazing. Brooklyn talked me into going to it, and I was like, I don't know about this. But 5 or 10 minutes into it, I was like, oh, I get it. And I think that's kind of the thing that we're going to get with this a lot. Like Brad really hyped it up on Festiverse, but then Corey kind of tempered expectations a little bit by saying it's going to be a lot of chill stuff. I do think there will probably be at least a rager or two, but it's not necessarily going to be like the giant boiler room thing that we may have expected from what I've seen so far, anyways.
Yeah, I fully expect 360 by Charlie XCX to no, I'm kidding.
Andrew, are you going to give us a brat set at this new stage?
I don't know that I will be, especially not at that stage. Maybe at the Plaza 5 tent.
Yeah, yeah. Bad bitches only, I know. All right. Charlotte, any last thoughts on the new Infinity stage?
No, do you have any last thoughts on it, Daniel?
She always turns that around on me. No, really, because like I have a lot in mind for this, but I think there's still like a ton of unknowns. Like the promo video and stuff hasn't really given us a lot just yet. We're probably not going to know entirely about this thing until like May, probably. But yeah, I am excited. It is cool that Rue is throwing down the gauntlet once again for like production stuff. I think we have been a little stalled on that kind of thing for a good number of years. I don't think we can ever get to Coachella levels, but it is time to like up their game a little bit. And I'm glad that they're seeing this. So I guess I'm thankful that Brad had a good field trip to Thailand for things like that.
Why do you think we can never get to Coachella levels?
Oh boy, Andrew may be able to answer that question better than me. Like none of us have been there, but you can tell from the videos, like the giant wall that they have at their main stage. I just don't know if we could ever do something like that at the what. I don't know. What do you think, Andrew?
I mean, if there's one thing that Coachella does better than Bonnaroo, it's just raw lighting production and stage setups and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, they put more money into booking. Yeah, they do other stuff that's a little bit better, but Bonnaroo puts a lot more money into like operations and um, the campground experience. And I just think that in order for Bonnaroo to catch up to Coachella, um, they would be probably doubling their budget
Yeah.
in that area. So I just, uh, if there's a giant management change, maybe, but otherwise it's going to take over a
Well,
decade to even consider that a possibility, I think.
obviously, I'm biased, but I like the way that we have it at Bonnaroo. We don't need to have like blockbuster billion-dollar productions. I'm exaggerating, but I have always been a little jealous of the Sahara tent over at Coachella. Like they're kind of like
Yeah.
EDM centric thing where there's lights and the big dome all around you. And it is cool that this new Infinity stage is kind of doing a Rue version of that. So I'm excited to see what they can do with it. And another thing is I think that we probably shouldn't entirely judge it on this first year because they're probably going to have a few kinks to work out and figure out what works on it. I remember the first year of the other, they threw some stuff against the wall and not everything sticked, but it's working well now. So it might be year two that we fully see this new Infinity stage utilized. But we shall see. Charlotte, when the actual schedule comes out for that, I mean, you got to pick something to go to together at that thing.
Okay, sure.
All right. So let's move over to another thing. First of all, we do need to let everybody know that our lineup drop episode is going to look a little different this year. So I'm unfortunately coincidentally traveling right when the lineup is dropping. So you are going to be in good hands this year. Charlotte, can you tell us a little bit about what you have planned for the lineup episode for this year?
Okay, I think the lineup is supposed to come out around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, January the 8th. And we are going to be doing a little bit of a live recording of our podcast on Discord. And then later that evening, me and Chloe and Skylar and Shayna, I believe, are going to record the conclusion of that episode.
All right, so you guys are going to know this stuff way earlier than I am. It's going to be funny because like this is going to be the first time in years, maybe ever, that I'm going to see the lineup after literally everybody else has. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys on that. That may be releasing a little bit later. We are doing this little bonus episode to drop at a normal release time, but like we're going to have the full lineup drop episode maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Just bear with us because I'm traveling and we're working out a couple of different things than we have in the past. But we will have that your way. So thanks for your patience on that. All right. So thanks, Sharla. One more thing I do want to talk about to finish out this kind of little mini bonus episode is talk about any last minute rumors. So Andrew, I think we are at the point now where the poster is probably almost finished and it might be circulating amongst industry people. Have you heard anything new today as we're recording this on Monday, January 6th?
Yeah, so it sounds like there might be something circulating. I was told by two different people that to expect it, you know, in the wild tomorrow, which makes me think like they sent some sort of like draft out in the past day or two, and then the final draft is going to be hitting different industry people tomorrow. But um, I, my guess is I see it tomorrow night, but it's really hard to say. You never really
Yeah.
know
Well,
until
remember
it's in
last
hand.
year we
So,
got that disgusting one the night
well,
before.
here,
So, I
right,
mean,
yeah, and I
nothing's
mean, like,
impossible.
say that again.
Oh, I was just saying because we got that really, I'm not even going to like describe it on the podcast, but that disgusting one last year, nothing's impossible. We might see some kind of prank, but not really a prank again this coming year.
Yeah, I mean, I would say before like noon tomorrow, I would be pretty skeptical of anything I see, but I think by about lunchtime on the 7th, all bets are pretty much off. So um, I will say, as far as like what I've seen kind of get leaked today, has been kind of in batches. So it didn't really seem like the batches were, like had much rhyme or reason to them. Like I would have thought it was like an agency or like a manager or like some some like grouping of artists that way. Um, that didn't really seem to be the case. I was just kind of surprised to see that they were people were sending me like 10 artists at a time, and
Yeah.
there didn't really seem to be like a reason why it was those particular 10 artists. So that
So
was what was kind of interesting
can
today.
we, there was one, okay, so I don't want to steal your thunder or talk too much about the name. So I'm just going to say this in like kind of like a hinty kind of way. Did I really just see one name that we might finally have it hot in here over at Bonnaroo?
So I will say Nelly was on one of the lists. We don't have multiple sources on that one. Andy's in Europe about 3 or 4 days beforehand, but he does turn around and start a US tour about 6 days after Bonnaroo. So it's definitely possible. It could be, well, it's gonna be hot in here anyway, but
Yeah. Well, you might have to take off all your clothes. But yeah, we're due him because they have gotten a handful of artists that were supposed to have been on one of the canceled lineups. So I would not be shocked. That would be a great, great, great throwback act, kind of like T-Pain last year.
yeah, and that was supposed to be a country grammar set, so it should be interesting to see whether that's a regular Nelly set or a country grammar set. But yeah, I mean, I could just go through like the changes we've been public about today. It's never mind a week ago since we
Well,
recorded, but
yeah, sure.
like
Just tell us real briefly what you might have learned.
yeah, so just today we learned that Doechii unfortunately will no longer be playing. Um, that was the artist I mentioned earlier when I said if there's like an artist reason for the lineup being delayed, it's probably her. But I don't actually think that's the reason why. I think it has more to do with how late New Year's Eve is and giving managers time to check the lineup before
Yeah, that
we
makes sense.
announce. But um, so that was the first piece. We also bumped Foster the People up to rumored. Um, and then just a few minutes ago, we also added a few more Marcus King Band and Jack's Mannequin. Jack's Mannequin, the festival has been teasing. We've bumped up And then you mentioned Nelly, but Claptone, who's like I think German electronic artist, we also put on the thread. So um, we got some more artists confirmed too, but we're kind of keeping them in our back pocket.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, we shouldn't completely spoil everyone for Christmas morning. There do need to be
right, yeah.
more surprises. But yeah, I'm excited, man. This is potentially going to be one of the best lineups in a really long time. This is one that, admittedly, I think a lot of us have known plenty about, but I still think there's going to be a ton of surprises too.
Yeah, I think Wallows was the only one I didn't just mention, but I mean, you've seen all the texts come in. There's probably been 12
Yeah,
or 15
yeah.
over the course of the day. So,
Well, we're maybe 24 hours from seeing a leak, and then a day and a half from seeing the whole thing, so we can finally put all of this speculation to rest. It'll be fun. And like we mentioned earlier, Sharla is going to be talking with the ladies and having a good lineup drop episode for everyone. Hey, Sharla, one other thing that we should talk about before we get out of here. We are now a little less than 2 weeks away from having our totem event over at Rosemary's in Nashville.
Yeah, it's going to be at 3 p.m. at Rosemary and Beauty Queen, which is on Forest Avenue in East Nashville. So January the 19th, everyone should come on out.
Yeah, we're going to have a fun, chill time. So we're going to take just like no more than a half hour to just kind of give you an update on what all is going on with Totem, a lot of our accomplishments from last year, and what we plan on doing in 2025 and beyond. And I'll give you a quick hint. Charlotte and I had a great conversation from a new friend from the nonprofit Consider Haiti. And Charlotte, it looks like we're going to try to do a virtual international program this coming year.
Yeah, that's the plan. 2026, we're gonna shoot for our international program. Sorry, I was on mute. 2026, we're gonna shoot for our international program, and we're very, very excited about that. Like Daniel said, we had a very good call with another nonprofit that is actually a nonprofit called Consider Haiti, where they actually go down to Haiti and they actually work in the field down there. So it's very exciting to get to talk to them, and we are looking forward to actually seeing what we can do with our cultural outreach program. That is our long-term goal for Totem and for our nonprofit. So we're very, very excited to get that rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. So come to that event at Rosemary's and we'll tell you more about it. And heck, we'll probably have a program or two at Rue on the farm where we can tell you more about what is going on in Haiti and what we hope to accomplish with them as well. All right. So, like I said, just a little small bonus episode for tonight. Andrew came on last minute. Thank you for jumping on with us, Andrew, to tell us about what all you learned today. And yeah, I promise next time I'm coming through Atlanta, I'll stop and we'll go get something to eat. Just not the varsity because it's so greasy.
yeah, not the varsity. I'll give you that.
We'll go somewhere else. I got to give a shout out to Mitchell. Everybody knows Mitchell. And if you don't, you should. I stopped and saw him today over at Pont City Market. They have a whole ass bar for King of Pops inside. Have you been over there, Andrew? It's really cool.
I have not. No, you're talking about Pont City Market right now. I haven't been to that one.
I got to go. Me and Charlotte were talking on the phone. We got to get by there earlier or get by there more. I mean, all right. So thanks everyone for listening in to this little bonus episode. Again, Charlotte and the ladies will be back here in just a day or two with the full lineup drop. This is going to be a good one. Can't wait to hear it from you guys. Can't wait to see everybody back on the farm. Thanks again to Andrew, and we'll see you guys next time. Get out there and radiate positivity.
Bye.
Happy Root.